Whoa, 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 whoa! It's the illusion reporting from somewhere on spaceship Earth. We're here for another sober Wednesday. All right, 4 in a row. We're winning. We're winning. So I'll do my my preamble here, and okay, I need a moderator here. We'll get you in there, and we got Dylan. We'll get you in there too. All right. So how's everyone doing? Here we are for Sober Wednesday. All right, BB's got 8 days sober. Good for you. Solid. So yeah, I'm Hamish, the illusion. I'm an alcoholic, recovering alcoholic. I got 11 years sobriety as of the first of the year. So we're here to carry the message of hope to those who suffer. So there's no requirement to be an alcoholic or a drug addict to hang out on this live stream. All that I ask is that you be courteous to those who came here for a solution. The basic concept of here is people struggle in many different ways. Some of us struggle with drugs and alcohol. Some of us struggle with food, gambling, debt, spirituality, God. I believe that all these things have a similar path towards God, and whatever your burden is, I think that there's a solution here for you. So, like I said, there is no requirement to be sober or want to be sober or even a desire to be sober. The only real requirement is just to be courteous to those who want to try to achieve sobriety. It's stormy. I don't think we'll see the moon tonight. So with that said, we're here dedicated for an hour of sobriety. That was sort of the preamble. How we generally have been doing it. We start with the Serenity prayer, and then we read how it works from the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, because that is a template that can be applied for any sort of condition as a process to regain your relationship with yourself, God, and your community. God is not a requirement for this that we talk about. It is for you to figure out. It is just a suggestion. It's just a part of the process that many of us have found to be successful on our journey. So with that said, let's open it up with the Serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. All right. Well, we're off to the races. So I'll read how it works, and then I kind of did my experience, strength, and hope on episode 1. I think we did the promises on episode 2. Last week we just talked about, I don't remember. So what I'll do is I'll read chapter 5, and then I'll just kind of open it up to you guys this week to direct it a little bit. So as I read, think about what we want to do here with our time together. All right. Where is chapter 5? How it works. All right. Chapter 5 from Big Books of Alcoholics Anonymous, page 58. How it works. Rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. Those who do not recover are people who cannot or will not completely give themselves to the simple program. Usually men and women who are constitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves. There are such unfortunates. They are not at fault. They seem to have been born that way. They are naturally incapable of grasping and developing a manner of living which demands rigorous honesty. Their chances are less than average. There are those too who suffer from grave emotional mental disorders, but many of them do recover if they have the capacity to be honest. Our stories disclose in a general way what we used to be like, what happened, and what we are like now. If you have decided you want what we have, are willing to go to any length to get it, then you're ready to take certain steps. At some of these we balked. We thought we could find an easier, softer way, but we could not. With all the earnestness at our command, we beg of you to be fearless and thorough from the very start. Some of us have tried to hold on to our old ideas, and the result was nil until we let go absolutely. Remember that we'll deal with alcohol, cunning, baffling, and powerful. Without help, it is too much for us. But there is one who has all power. That one is God. May you find him now. Half measures availed us nothing. We stood at the turning point. We asked his protection and care with complete abandon. Here are the steps we took are suggested as a program of recovery. We admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. We came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood him. 4, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5, admitted to God, to ourselves, and another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6, we're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. 7, humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings. 8, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. Made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10, continued to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. 11, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood him, praying only for knowledge of his will for us and the power to carry that out. Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our affairs. Many of us exclaimed, "What an order! I can't go through with it." Do not be discouraged. No one among us has been able to maintain anything like perfect adherence to these principles. We are not saints. The point is that we are willing to grow along spiritual lines. The principles we have set down are guides to progress. We claim spiritual progress rather than spiritual perfection. Our description of the alcoholic, the chapter to the agnostic, and our personal adventures before and after make clear 3 pertinent ideas. A, that we were alcoholic and could not manage our own lives. B, that probably no human power could have relieved our alcoholism. And C, that God could and would if he were sought. All right, so that's basically the program of how it works. I mean, if you, for those who don't suffer from drug and alcohol problems, you can just, there's only one line in this whole thing that talks about alcohol. We admitted we were powerless over alcohol. We admitted we were powerless over insert whatever you're powerless over. Basically, people, places, or thing for most of our problems. So I think you can insert that, and you can apply the steps liberally, how you feel. Again, is it's a program of service. The only way that we do get to maintain our sobriety, and it's pretty clear, is the 12th step, of course, is having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps. We try to carry this message to alcoholics and practice these principles in all our affairs. Again, remove the word alcoholic, insert said problem, and most of us, our problem is ego, self-will run riot, trying to connect with God, and all the things that make us move away from God. So let me do this. Let me just kind of read your comments here, and we'll go from there. It works if you work it. That's true, Ash Ketchup, but you got to work it. And I would say that and we're going to get going on there is if you do work it, right? If you do work it, and what does that mean? Is it's providing enough space to admit when you were wrong. And that's really the fundamental thing about it. The program of sobriety and spiritual growth, I don't think is about being right about anything. I think it's about knowing when you're wrong about things. It's when you're right, and the universe opens up and guides you on the path. It's knowing that when you're wrong about what you're doing, and that's where you got to work it. That's where you have to put, smell the leather. That's where you have to, the rubber meets the road. That's where you have to apply the steps. And that's why it's a program of thorough honesty, right? Because it's hard to admit that you're doing it wrong. It's hard to admit you've made a mistake. It's hard to admit that it's just not going right today. And for many of us, that's what leads to the snowball rolling down the hill. It's the cover up. It's the personal deception. It's lying to oneself and not admitting that it's off track. And part of working it is trying to catch it, i.e. the problem, before it gets too far off the track and starts making more problems. The more problems you make, the harder it is to correct your path. So our job is to realize, once we've done a lot of the work, and the work is the beginning of the whole thing, is made that fearless and searching moral inventory and admitted to God, ourselves, and another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. It's admitted to God, to our we were entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. Once you know what's wrong with yourself, i.e. what makes you tick, you got a lot to work with, because you can know. So again, these things mature over time. And what I would say is this: it took me, one of my character defects, right? If I look at my own character defects, is, in order to truly do something, like do something, I have to say no to it first. And it took me a long time to figure out what that meant, because in the beginning, I used to say yes. I used to say yes to all sorts of stupid things. And I don't mean like I say I'll show up and I'll like being of service. Yes. I mean saying yes to people, please. And now I know that's a character defect of mine, that or it used to be, and it still is that I will need to say yes to somebody because I think it's easier. I want to people please. I want to get out of it, whatever it may be. But really, I want to say no. I don't want to go over there. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. So what I realize is, if I say no first, I give myself the freedom to say yes, right? So if I say yes to something, you can't say no. When you say yes to something, you can't really all of a sudden take your word back, right? Because we're supposed to be thoroughly honest. So if you say yes, and then all of a sudden you're like, no, something's wrong there. But I found if I say no first, no, I don't want to go to the museum, then I can say yes. It's like this weird mind trick I found in myself. That's me personally, but once I discovered this process in my own mental chemistry, it's made my life profoundly easier, because I just say no, and then I can go, yeah, I do want to do that now. You know what I mean? Because I've already given myself the out, because now it's my decision. Again, it's a little cuckoo, dude, because we're all a little crazy, dude, if you get what I'm saying. So, all right, let me read the things. Hey, Hamish, I know. I'm kind of slowing down the comments so I can read them in real time when I stop. So if you've commented, I'm catching up to you. Hey, Hamish, so this is Sober Focus, and you have responded last live, but I had to go back to work. I'm really bad at the purchase situation. See that? Yes, I did. I did, Groove. Yes. I'm gonna get into all my Etsy stuff tonight. Rambo 45. Hey, can program be applied to? All right, dude. You're on timeout. Dude. Wait, hold on. Yeah, absolutely, dude. Funny, dude. See there, my own thing. Rambo 45. Oh, can this program be applied to pornography and masturbation? Absolutely, dude. Same thing. It's you're distracting yourself from God, man. It's the whole thing. And why do you do what you do, dude? If you get to the whole thing, it's the same steps can apply. Addiction to pornography is an addiction. So it's right there. God bless you, Lily. And 27 days, Franklin Tangelo. Good for you. Good for you, Franklin. Should I go to AA? If you feel that you need to, it's worked for me for 11 years, and I know a lot of people it's worked with. So it improves your success rate heavily, dude. And that's where you can go to be of service, and you can find like-minded people. Good. BB's facing the ghost. Rick Fisher, thank you. I guess it kind of is in an interesting way. Scott, hey again. Justin Anthony, 38 days sober, dude. See, this is encouraging, dude. This is working for me too. Good for you, Justin. Andrew, do you have any desire to stop drinking? That's a good, yeah, good. You guys are working it out amongst yourself. Admire you being sober, quit everything but weed, hardest one. Such a goof, tried so many times, can't seem to get it done. Again, is what I would suggest is that the ego talking, life without weed, man. Have you seen a $20 bill on weed? Have you seen a $20 bill without weed? It's the same stuff. Look, I'll tell you this, is when you get down to the nuts and bolts of sobriety, it's all the same stuff, man. It's just putting something between you and God is what it is. And the reason you're putting something between you and God is because you're not ready to come close to God, because you're afraid that God is going to judge you for whatever it is you've done. If you're not a God person, that's why it's very vague about God in these steps. It's something you've discovered over time. But what I would say to you is that that's why you bring it, you talk to another human being and God is when you really get down to it, nobody cares. They just want to help you. And so that's why you talk to someone and work the steps with another human being, and boom, you get through the thing that why you're jammed up and think you need the weed. I get it. I changed my life in October 2005 down in Newport, California, dreaming. A lot of sobriety down in Newport. Recite the Serenity. All right, Ethan, twice. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. The Serenity prayer is like a really fundamental prayer, and it's super simple, but it's really pretty radical when you think about it, especially for the overthinking mind, right? Grant me the serenity. It's granting me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Being serene in the things you cannot change. We can't change most of this stuff. And to get serenity in that's hugely powerful and relieving, right? So God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, right? That's the first thing you got to do is be cool with the stuff you can't change. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and the courage and the courage to change. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and the courage to change the things I can. The courage, right? Because most of the things you can change, you need a little bit of courage because you've been playing the part of the victim, and the wisdom to know the difference. And that's hugely important, is the wisdom to know the difference. And that's why you need God. That's why you need counsel of friends. That's why you need a network of people. The self-talking mind, man, will deceive you. So the wisdom is to know that maybe you can't solve all these. Know the difference. Maybe you don't know the difference between what you can solve and what you can't solve, right? So the wisdom is to find outside sources to help you discover what maybe is the best for you, or someone just to tell you the truth. just tell you the truth. It's said that God will do for you what you can't do for yourself too. So that's that. All right. Yeah, we're cool. We're just congrats, Ethan, Bathel. Whoa. Character defects are what I used to call my survival skills. I get sober and think the same type of unhealthy behaviors will serve me. Well, that's why we don't get rid of our character defects. They are our survival skills. Our character defects are how we get by. That's our wiring. We don't, it's again with the to see Stephen, right? That's step 6. We were entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. I mean, we were just ready. Just come on, God, remove all those. 7, humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings. So again, it's this thing where we know that we have these survival skills, right? And we're asking God to intervene for us. It doesn't mean that we're not going to use them. Some of those survival skills that could be considered shortcomings are very useful to us. And they're not to be denied at the same time, dude. It's getting sober. Andrew, we got Andrew here. Okay. Is getting sober at 20 too early? No, I got the kids I got sober with 11 years ago were 17. And those dudes are killing it, dude. Oh God, they have the coolest scenes going. I've talked about it before. The young punkers I got sober with at 17. One of them's like a stunt man and does triathletes, has a super hot wife, just bought a house for himself. My other one that I was getting sober with is has his own, got his contracting license, is killing it, dude, has built his own tiny home, has a couple rad dogs, dude. And then my other one that I was rolling with is like a famous like artist who's big over in Japan that works, that's like one of the big designers down at Chrome Hearts. So those dudes got sober at 17. I'd say, dude, it's never too early to get sober. All right, let's see. Thoughts on Aleister Crowley's AA? I don't know what that is. Tristan Wilson, I have no thought. Aleister Crowley, I don't really have any time for Aleister Crowley, but I don't really know what his thoughts on Aleister Crowley's AA. I don't know what that is. Is Rockstar Energy drugs? No, but the sugar in it is for sure, dude. When you read the back of the can. So for those of you who do the Rockstars and all that stuff, get the Zevias at least. At least slowly switch out of the thing. And I'll tell you, most of us have candida in our system from our unhealthy diets, dude. Alcohol is just an illusion of courage from BB. Yeah, it's better to become a much like Christ as possible than to only spend a temporary time with Christ. Yeah. If you're struggling, try meditation, mindfulness. That's truth. Well, that's the 11th step. That's the, what is the 11th step prayer, dude? I forget, dude. Sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God. Well, that's step 11, dude. Once you really, really begin to get this, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood him. But the key here, which is where most people learn and grow up, right, is praying only for knowledge of his will for us and the power to carry it out. See, most people pray, like early on, pray for stuff. I want my bills paid. I want some shiny shoes. I want a car without dents. I want a girlfriend who doesn't hit me anymore. I want a dog that doesn't bark, whatever it is. Most of us are praying for stuff. But when we really begin to get sober, we're no longer praying for stuff. We're praying only for knowledge of his will for us. right? We're only praying for knowledge of his will for us. Dude, think about that. Praying only for the knowledge of his will for us and the power to carry that out. Again, is we have to understand that part of our predicament as people that are drug addicts and alcoholics is that we seek power. And our power seeking has been misguided into the cover up, to applying medicine to our discomfort. That's the only power many of us have had. The only power I really had for large chunks of my life was to anesthetize myself to the pain of the world, man. For me, I didn't have any trauma in my life. It was just this world is very painful, dude. There's a lot of dark, bad things going on that's very traumatic to a feeling, loving, empathetic human being on his search for God, right? And so the only power I had at a certain point in my life was the drugs and alcohol to take me out of the game. And then they stopped working, right? So then I didn't have any power at all. Then I just was out of control. And so that's where we get the power to carry it out, because we need the power, dude, the power to be powerful, to be courageous, to be honest, to walk through the valley, walk through the shadow, valley of the fire, the valley of the fire and the shadow of the doubt thing, right? So, and, I lost where we are here. Crowley was on opiates, pretty sure, and then until he died. Secrets are good. Secret order. Yeah. Crowley was a gnarly creeper, dude. But again is don't judge him for being bad. Thank him for showing you the path towards doom and destruction, man. Again, we don't condemn those. We thank them for the journey to the abyss so that we don't have to follow them, dude, right? Yeah, I believe in the force too, dude. Is melatonin bad for sleep? At a certain point, I take melatonin every night, dude. We naturally produce melatonin in our body. And when we get older, we tend to have deficits of it. So like I'm 51, so I take melatonin regularly, dude. It's a natural occurring thing, dude. I don't see any problem with it. But if you take too much, it kind of works the opposite, dude. But I'll tell you what on these things of being sober is that how you treat yourself is super important. And again, we tend to be very abusive to ourselves. I mean, by the very nature of alcoholism and addiction, whatever your addiction may be, it's a very abusive activity on the human form, right? So for many people that are trying to get sober, like you're supposed to have anxiety. You're supposed to have trouble sleeping. You're supposed to be kind of ill and a little bit sickly and out of sorts. That's normal. Like I think I talk to a lot of people begin getting sober and they'll be like, I got anxiety and I can't sleep well. Yeah, exactly, dude. You've been thrashing on your body for God knows how long. So I share the story of when I was about 3 months sober, I got started feeling super ill, like just worn down. I thought I was getting the cancer, dude. I thought I was dying, dude. I really did. I hadn't really felt that bad in forever. And I was talking to the sober girl and she was like, dude, you're just tired. I go, what do you mean? She's like, you've been redlining your body for like 2 decades, just redlining it, staying up late, partying all night, going to work, surfing, skating, jumping off cliffs into bodies of water, just being a maniac, right? For like 20 plus years, dude. She's like, dude, you just need to sleep and rest. She's like, let your body rest. And so the body does an interesting thing I've noticed. And that's why that first 90 days of sobriety is pretty important and paramount, is that your body is like on guard in the beginning. Like, is this guy or gal gonna drop more poison into my system? You have to understand, alcohol and drugs are poison. That's how they do their magic on you, dude. It's not some, mushrooms, they're poisonous, dude. That's how it does it, dude. That's all poison. So your body is ready to fight the poison, and it's waiting because you've been doing it so consistently for so long. It's like, dude, it's 6 o'clock somewhere. Where's the beer? Dude, we haven't smoked any weed today. That's weird. Oh, we're not gonna. It's Sunday. We're not doing blow, dude. We're not taking any pills today. So your body is sitting kind of on this thing, and then eventually, at a certain point, it's like, oh wow, this person's not gonna put any more drugs and alcohol in me. I need to rest now, and it'll want to rest. Your body will want to rest, and you need to treat again. You got to love yourself enough to treat yourself a little bit, dude, better. And we tend to treat ourselves terribly, dude. Just so you know. I don't know what's true, Andrew Shamblin, because I'm kind of behind the curve here. Exactly. You have to leave it to God, up to God. Yeah, you got to leave it up to God. We must continue to preach repentance. Yeah. Well, that's what the fourth and fifth step are all about. Oh, Kale Flowers, dude. So my friend here, Kale, he saw me come in. This is one of those dudes who saw me like fresh meat, dude. So yeah, we're doing our Sober Wednesdays, Kale. We're no longer anonymous anymore on this channel. And it's kind of a new movement. I don't know if you're aware, but we're not doing anonymous anymore. And so we're doing this thing, and Kale's allowed to use all caps, by the way, dude. He's an actually like living friend of mine, dude, from that knows me. So don't give him a hard time, Wrenches. Kale, I give Kale the free pass to all cap. So yeah, we're here, Kale. We're helping people get sober and stay sober. Oh, no worries, my brother, dude. No worries. And we're trying to pass a little Kale knows my spiritual teacher quite well. Kale and I come from the Joe Shaughnessy School of Spiritual Teachings, and is that David Brune, North American Tribe, dude? No, this is no. And so yeah, Kale and I, we know the dance. So yeah, we're here trying to manifest some good vibes. We're doing the thing, man. And we got some people getting sober here. We're fired up. We're just kind of just rolling with it, trying to do a new format. You should come on and do this thing live with me one day. Sit right here, brother. I need some co-hosts on this deal. So what do we got out there? What are you guys all about, man? So we're at the halfway mark, and I kind of turn it over to you a little bit. We're sort of doing it that way tonight, but it's funny. So I'll give some time at the shore stories. Some time at the shore stories, dude. So there was this girl there that I liked, and she was the daughter of a famous. Oh, you're in the East Coast, okay. There was this girl there. She was the daughter of this famous athlete, and she had been in and out of rehabs a bunch of times. And we were sitting talking one evening, and she was young, dude. And we were talking one evening, and she was like, I'm wasting all my dad's money, and I've wasted so much of his thing. And I remember looking to her, I go, it's only a waste if you don't get sobriety. If you get sober, it's an investment in you. And that's really the way it is everybody. It's not how you got here. It's the fact you got here. And it's this thing that I remember Joe telling me, like, so me and Joe were coming back from a meeting or something. I was probably like 8 months sober or something. And we were coming back from a meeting, and he's like, I was like, man, I really regret this and that. And he's the dude who taught me not to regret stuff. He was like, I was like, man, if I'd only, if I'd only finished college and I'd only done this, and I don't know, I guess it wasn't regret. I was like only ifs. And if I'd only done this and I'd only done that, oh man, it would have been so much different. And I remember him like looking at me and he's like, but you wouldn't be here with me getting sober now, would you? And I was like, yeah. And you have to understand is where I was at this time was a real sweet spot. Like I was still close enough to being like a loaded dude out of my mind on drugs and alcohol, but I was just deep enough into the process and the steps and getting sober where I was really open to what Joe was telling me, man. And when he kind of told me this, it really put my life into perspective. And the thing is that it's not wasted time. It wasn't, yeah, I spent my 30s just a fart bag. I spent my 30s pretty out of control. That investment thing is a good thing to hear. I've been reflecting on that a lot lately. Yeah, murky, forgotten. Yeah, that's a huge thing. So if I look at my 20s, like my 20s, I was finger popping and I was doing my thing and it was on, dude, right? And then I get to my 30s and it's just the prolonged misery where like the whole world is really conspiring to give me my medicine. I'm running a bar. People are giving me free blow, dude. I'm not paying for any of it, dude. I'm just, for my 30s, right? Which gets me to the North Carolina phase at the end of my 30s. I think in North Carolina, I was like 38 in North Carolina. So my 30s were a disaster and pretty miserable. The finger popping rad part of like, yeah, young party guy, jet setting around with fish and doing blow and funky locales, eating acid and mountaintops and all that stuff was long gone, dude. And that journey in my 30s wasn't wasted. In fact, it was where school really took place because that was when I really, in retrospect, can look back and be like, whoa, dude, like that's what sustained alcoholism and drug addiction looks like. It will sustain you, dude. The miracle is that somehow I got out of it. The miracle is I was so drunk that I asked two dudes in front of a liquor store for help. How that happens, I don't know. That's God, right? Because had always been on the search for God. And so when I got to this point, and that's what I would do to the 20-year-old guy and my 17-year-old friends I got sober with. It's never too early to get sober, but the true miracle of you getting sober and what you're trading in, right? I didn't know anything about sobriety in my 20s. I didn't know anything about sobriety in my 30s. God intervened in my life at 40 and gave me a path out of my misery. From that perspective of knowing how good and rich and bountiful life of sobriety is, I look back now and I go, wow, man, what would I have done with my life in my zesty, youthful 20s as a sober dude with the power of God, the power of manifestation, the power of all of this stuff. And yet I have to make peace with the fact that I don't get to do that. My job is to let the person who's 20 years old out there know that you're not missing anything. I did it for you, dude. Yes, it looks cool in a Hunter S. Thompson novel. It reads real well in Fear and Loathing. The myth of Hemingway makes it seem real exciting. There's enough pop culture, finger pop and coolness about drugs and alcohol. But as a dude who did it with all barrels going, with all tires spinning, and a very, very kind of rock star. I rock star, dude. I had my own book published. I had my own entourage. I was zipping across the country. I was doing my thing, dude. But what I will tell you is, if I could tell someone who's 20, a lot of people ask me, what would I tell you, someone, my 20-year-old self? What would I tell my 20-year-old self? I would tell my 20-year-old self, if you can find God now, you will experience a life beyond your wildest expectations. But again, would I know what that means? No. Would I have known what the hell? I'm sure someone told me that in my 20s. Would I have known what it? Can't ride a drunk donkey, dude. Yeah, unless you get your donkey drunk. The pet. I used to have a pet donkey, Bobo. So I used to. I'll tell a story here. I had this. Yeah, dude. If you're young and you're getting sober, dude, man, you have shaved off years of wasted time. See, I didn't waste them because I got the gift of God, right? I get to, but many people I know who are my age, I have a friend of mine, a dear friend I love, dude, who's 5 years older than me, still just tripping on coke, couldn't get sober to save his life. Dude looks at me, he's like, how'd you pull it off? I have kids now, I have a wife, I got, you know what I mean? I used to sit and read the Bible with him on Blow 11 years ago. And that dude's still out there. And I look at that dude and I'm like, wow, man, that guy's the 11 years I've been sober, just doing what I've been doing, that you can look back in the archives and see that dude's been doing the exact same thing that I left him doing. And that's really the story I would tell you to your young bucks out there is if you got a shot at it and you can see it and you can see the sunlight of the Spirit and the crack of God, and you can remove the false reality of drugs and alcohol, man, wow, dude, like, you're on a magic ride, dude. And, we can always refund your misery, right? So it's that thing of, 30, man. And look, dude, I'll tell you what, the timeline's accelerated right now. This is a terrible time to be on drugs and alcohol, from my perspective. Again, I'm biased because I'm sober, but I couldn't imagine living in this donkey show right now. Pickled. I couldn't imagine enjoying any of this smoking weed. I like the freak show that goes on out there, stoned, like, oh my God, what a horse. I couldn't imagine eating psychedelics during this period. Like, oh my God, it would freak me out, dude. It'd make me run into a big white building with my hair on fire, going, no, I'm here to save the day. Waving my American flag, dude. So maybe those people were all on acid. I don't know. But, that's neither here nor there. But so what I'm getting at is, this is a great time to get sober. It seems like a really bad time to come out of the haze, but I'll tell you, this is the best time ever to get sober, dude, because more people are going the other direction. It's time to come. So I'm off to the Hab Monday. Good for you, Augusto. Yeah, pandemic with addiction's terrible. I can't. Yeah, it sounds vicious, dude. Hey, man, as a dude who's worked in rehabs, dude, Augusto. I'm going to give you some rehab advice. Dude, 2020 with addiction felt like 10 years. No, yeah, exactly. Joe, let me give you some advice if you're going into the rehab on Monday, dude. Just go with it, dude. Don't offer any resistance. Just go there and be like, dude, these people are there to help me, man. Yeah, they're the pain in the ass. We're like, as a dude who works on it, it's a pain in the ass. It's supposed to be, dude. But if you approach it as this is medicine to save my life, and you do the thing, and this is your Augusto, this is your path forward. Go in with an open mind and acceptance and God and love and grace, and let those people help you, and then watch all the dipshits you're in rehab with fuck it up for themselves. And when you see that go down and you have just enough of a crack to battle your addiction in that setting with enough clarity just to look at the idiots next to you and be like, oh my God, I don't want to be like that. That's all you need, is that much, just that much of a gap, just to be like, oh, I don't want that. You don't need any friends in rehab. Those aren't your friends. Those people in rehab that are like, oh, dude, they're not your friends, dude. Nobody in rehab's your friends. As a dude who's worked in rehabs, they're not your friends. You're there for you and you alone. Don't attach to any of the other inmates. If anything, find one of the cool ass staff people and guarantee there's some dude like me or gal like me who works at the rehab. Befriend them and go, what do I do? And they're going to be like, this is what you do, dude. Just, you don't need any friends. Those aren't the friends you're trying to make, dude. They are boat anchors, dude. Trust me, dude. I've watched it, dude. I've seen it. I've seen good people come into rehabs and be like, oh, that girl, dude, or I'm rolling with those dudes. Those dudes are the cool kids. You don't want the cool kids at the rehab. You want the uncool, you know? You're double out of there. And so, yeah, just be safe. God bless you and stay strong, man. Like I said, you're there to get help, dude. You're not there to go to the spa. It ain't a day spa, man. And like I said, I've been on all sides of this thing, dude. But I'll tell you what, man. And my friend Kale knows this. I went to this. I got the lucky 7 and ended up at this sober living as a guest. And I got sober at this place. And I've said it before. Yeah, lean into it. Is I was one of the few people that stayed sober because I wanted to be sober, dude. Most of those people in rehab don't want to be sober. Either their parents are forcing them, their wife's forcing them, the courts are forcing them. So they're not reliable counterparts. So I would be at this sober living, right? And like, you know, I do meetings every night. And I would be like, I'd load everyone, let's go to the meeting, dude. You know, like, let's go to the meetings. And they'd be like, I need to go to the gym. I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to do this. I need to do that. I'm telling you, dude, the excuse factor is the number one. You don't need to go to the gym, dude. Trust me. You don't need to do anything except listen to the people trying to help you, dude. Like everybody, yeah, those, right, dude, I was raw, dog. Those were the glory days. Here's a sober living story. I was up surfing with my buddy, dude. This sober living we were at was a shit show, dude. I was up surfing and we were coming back from Halama. My buddy, I was that was hanging out at the sober living, dude. And we're coming about driving down the coast, and all of a sudden we see all these ambulances and fire trucks passing us, dude. And I was joking. I go, oh, I bet they're heading to our sober living, dude. And they were. And we get up to the sober living and they're all there, dude. There's just fire trucks and firemen and paramedics and cops and the whole thing. And what had gone on was this super affluent woman married to a huge computer person had locked herself in the closet and was threatening to kill herself with safety scissors. It's like a cuckoo. So, and she was a nice woman, dude, but you know, she didn't want to face her problems, dude. So she was threatening to kill herself with safety scissors, dude. And when they finally took the door off the hinges and the thing she had been trying to saw through her arm was safety scissors, dude. Dude, I can tell you stories. There was this other dude that we had this lunatic from Canada, this really rich kid, dude. He had a little little bit of a little brain damage, I would say. And one day he's like, I'm gonna go for a hike. And he took off on some hike with like hiking. We live way up in the canyons, dude. And he got lost. It got dark. He got lost. And this dude was one of those dudes who thought he could do anything. He took off, went hiking. It got dark. And this huge canyon complex, Joe, our guy, they were driving around calling his name out the window way up, and the canyons are steep in these mountains. And all they heard was help, help down in the canyon. And this dude had gotten himself so lost in the dark and like almost died. It was never ending. So the donkey story, dude, never came back. Yeah, they found him eventually. He was stuck down in the canyon, dude. Mountain lions, yeah, they'll eat you. But again, it's sobriety's a blessing, dude. And from the look, I'll tell you this to wrap this kind of towards the end here is, from the outside looking in, sobriety looks pretty lame. And there's a bunch of I'll be clear, there's a bunch of lame-o sober people that are just wound real tight and real about whatever rules they follow, dude. If that's what you want, that's what you can have. But what you'll find out in sobriety is there's no rules, baby. This is a suggestion, dude. This is all a suggestion. But if you want to really pursue life, you got to jump through the other side. Jump and the net will appear, right? And like I said, I spent a majority of my life vowing never to get sober. I will never, ever. Those dudes are losers. Biggest bunch of kooks on the planet, sober people, dude. Who gets sober? What a waste of a life, dude. Conformist, they're the man, dude. Whatever stories you tell yourself. But what I'll tell you on this side of the story, dude, is when you get your freedom back, your real freedom back, you'll look back at the old self and be like, wow, that's what a prisoner looks like. That's what a prisoner looks like. A prisoner is somebody who can be free, but chooses not to be free for no other reason than that's the choice they want to make. So look, it's that thing as if you're on the precipice of the whole thing, give it a try, rotate around the sun once, just go 365 days, take a look at every calendar day with sober eyes. And if you make it around the sun once, you can probably make it a day, no problem. And if after a year of being sober and working the steps and being of service, if you want your old pathetic life back, you can have it. No one's going to condemn you, dude. It's totally legit, dude. There's no judgment on it, dude. But I will tell you from this perspective of many have chosen that path and they all have come to regret it, dude. Is once you got the sober sauce in your system, dude, you don't want to be sick anymore. Huh? Right? So that's the thing. And I mean, what do you got? 12 years, Kale? 12 years now? 13, 12? You're 12. I just got 11, dude. Think about that, man. So this dude knows me before I even had the concept of having Owl in my life, dude. It kind of always trips me out, dude. 12 years, dude. Good for you, my brother. 11, dude. Who would have thunk, right? Who would have thunk, bro? I remember us. We were puppies, dude. And even then, the thing that you grow. The thing that you realize too, and you can back me up on this or not, is I can look back at an early sobriety and I still thought I knew it all. I now know at 11 years of sobriety, I don't know my ass from my elbows, dude. And you hear people talk about that. Like, yeah, in the beginning, you think you're this, but you wear that role. You're supposed to be on fire in the beginning. You're supposed to be like finger popping, like, yeah, dude, let's sober, you guys, yeah, doing the whole thing. That's part of what it's about. At 11 years, man, I'm like, dude, I don't know, dude. I'm just keeping in the game. I'm staying in the game, dude. And I feel pretty good. Life's pretty good. It's pretty difficult. It's pretty hard. You know, with me and the wife, we sat down and had a full-blown adult conversation about finances moving forward into 2021, dude. Because as we all know, things are very challenging right now. But that kind of mature conversation, we were 2 years ago would have probably been a fight. You know what I mean? Because we weren't that mature 2 years ago. So you get a maturity and an ability to recognize what sobriety is. Because it's not about drugs and alcohol. Proud of you too, Kale. It's not about the drugs and alcohol. It never was, dude. The drugs and alcohol were a medicine. Living life on life's terms. And then, you know, once you realize that God's the ultimate medicine, dude, and that God of your understanding. Again, we talk about God a lot here, but it's your personal relationship. I just share my experience with it. And I'll tell you what, sobriety's fun, dude. I came from the school of good times and unlimited possibility. We're not a glum lot. I didn't get sober to be miserable and pissed off, dude. I did all that. And I've been that in sobriety too, dude. I got sober because I didn't want to live the life I was living anymore. And I found a life they say, dude, a life beyond my wildest dreams, dude. Well, my dreams were stupid when I first got sober. Like I had some pretty dumb dreams, dude. Now, dude, I'm fired up, dude. Fired up. You know, my big mystery is to figure out what set of Legos this belongs to, dude. I don't know, dude. Mysteries, dude. You know what I mean? Like life's simple, dude, and that's the adventure. Like I'll just tell you, dude, about sobriety is it's so simple that it's infinitely interesting. Where the mundane exists, there it is. That's where the rubber meets the road. Sober is the route. Yeah, I wouldn't ever give it up, man. And I've been through some stuff the last couple of years. So those of you who've been around this channel long enough know, man, I wasn't easy a couple of years ago. And this thing that's going on in the funky United States of America, dude, it's nothing compared to what I went through 2 years ago. And it's nothing compared to what getting sober was like, dude. Getting sober was the total tectonic shift of reality, dude. So we'll wrap up this whole thing here is on the way out the door. Thank you for all being here. I hope I was at service. And I like to always end it on this note. Wherever you are in the United States of America, there is an AA central office available to you. Just type in your town, your county, wherever it is, type in that AA central office. A number will come up. You call that number. There's somebody there like me or Kale or anyone who's sober that wants to help you. They're there because they want to help you. So you're not alone. This is an us team sport. This is not a loneliness game. This is not one person against the world. There's a network of us out there called Central Office AA Anywhere USA. There's somebody there like me to help you or a woman like me to help you. If you're feeling lonely and suicidal, please call a suicide prevention line. Please call somebody. Many people are out there alone. They don't know what to do. They're overwhelmed by the financial situations, the isolation, the loneliness, the coof, the government, the chaos. Please don't take a temporary problem, make a permanent solution. Dude, please call a suicide prevention line, call somebody, anybody, but just whatever you do, just Don't be lonely and take yourself out of the game, dude, because the best is yet to come. And we all need you, man. You being alive and sober is of great service and a great testament to God's grace and glory. With that said, lead us out with the serenity prayer. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. God bless you. Good night. We'll be back here next Wednesday, 6:30 Pacific Standard Time for another Sober Wednesday. Be kind to each other. Love each other. Email links down below if you want more help. Like I said, AA, central office, anywhere. God bless. Take care. Good night. Love you, Kale.